everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for The Marketing of Business. I'm Lynn Doyle, sitting in for Bonnie Squires. You know, we have 4 very diverse, unique businesses represented on this show, and I think you're going to be really interested in what they have to say about marketing each of their individual businesses, and also some advice and some obstacles that they have needed to overcome while they've been in business. Let me introduce to you who will be joining us today. Lindi Snyder is the founder and CEO of Lindi Skin. This is a very unique business because it develops skincare products for cancer patients. Can't wait to hear what she has to tell us about that. Penny Ordway is also here. She is the owner of Eviama Life Spa. Now, Penny was ahead of her time because she developed the first green and holistic spa in this region. She's been around for a while, way ahead of her time. She's going to tell us what motivated her and what she's doing to stay competitive now. Also with us is Peter Raddati. He is the president and CEO of the Cybersoft company. That is a computer security company. He'll tell us how important a role his firm plays in today's society. And then rounding out our panel is Michael Schweisheimer. He is the owner of Primitive World Productions. He's doing good works with nonprofits and educational organizations in the way of video production. So as I said, a lot of diverse guests here, a lot of diverse opinions that we're going to be getting. If you want to find out what they say about the business world, stay with us. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back, everyone, to The Marketing of Business. I'm Lynn Doyle, and each of my guests has piqued my interest with what their individual business done. In fact, it's hard for me to decide where we're going to start, but I'm going to go with ladies first and go to Lindi Snyder because she is the founder and CEO of Lindi Skin, which develops skincare products for individuals who are dealing with or who have had cancer. And I just find that fascinating work.
It is fascinating work, and I think that it was a startup business. I started the business, and interestingly, when you start a business, you often don't know at the very beginning what you need. What we did know was that there was a need for us, and it was a focused need for patients undergoing chemotherapy or radiation who did not have skincare products to deal with these side effects to their skin that often cause them to go off treatment.
Did you have personal experience with this, or someone close to you who was going through cancer and suffered these side effects?
People very close to me. Here we were in mid-30s, 2 very close friends on cancer treatment, one for breast cancer, one for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, both having very different treatments and very different side effects to their skin and no relief. And it was very disturbing to them. And we all know how women love to look good and love their skin to look good. And you think about all the skincare products out there for the rest of the world. Why nothing for cancer patients when cancer rates in this country are 42% of this nation that will be diagnosed? So there needed to be something, and somebody had to get in there and do it. And it decided, somebody somewhere decided it was going to be me.
And now that you are involved in this, are you surprised at the effect that these skincare products have on the patients?
Yes. And when I started the business, it was considered to be a small issue in the face of survival, of saving somebody's life. But with newer targeted cancer therapies, skin problems are the number one side effect. Not hair loss, not weight loss, skin problems that can, again, cause people literally to go off treatment because the intense discomfort that is caused. And 80% of people will take a holiday from treatment. Our job is to keep them on treatment.
Now, you know that breast cancer awareness is a special passion of mine, so I'm particularly interested in your products. Also, I know that people who are going through cancer treatment need to be dealt with not just from a physical perspective, but also a mental and emotional, like almost a holistic approach.
That's absolutely right. Basically, you know, there's a program, for example, you know, with the American Cancer Society called Look Good, Feel Better. It's well documented that when you look better, if you're sick, if you have a cold, you have to go the extra mile to look good during that time. You're still functioning, you're working, you know, your family you have to take care of. But if you look in the mirror and you look horrible and it depresses you, it kind of lowers your self-esteem and your emotional ability to cope with some of these other things. So the idea is to help boost their emotions while giving them control of those issues they're going through.
Well, that's interesting because that leads me into the holistic approach and the green approach that Penny Ordway has adopted in her Eviama Life Spa. This is the first so-called green spa in this region, I understand.
Yes, that's right. We started in 2002 with the idea that if we were going to create a healing space, it had to be green.
And tell people exactly what that means. What would make a green spa as opposed to a non-green spa?
Well, we're in a multi-use building, I should say that first. So I had to get materials for my space that were sustainable. Things like cork and marmoleum, recycled fiber for insulation in the walls, making sure that the lighting was low energy use, and making sure that the electricity was completely sustainable, either wind or other sustainable sources.
So you're not just talking about using so-called holistic or green products for the spa treatments, but you're talking about the actual environment in which the building and the business is located.
Yes, people, when they come in, say that it's lovely and beautiful, but they also say that it feels peaceful. And I think that's partly our intention, but it's also partly that nature was respected and us as people who are in the world, in environments that may or may not be healthy, we can appreciate something that we may not exactly understand.
And it is so important these days for us to find ourselves in a healthy environment, isn't it?
It is. There's natural light. You look out to green. There are skylights. The feeling is really great. We do have, of course, organic products. We feature Dr. Hauschka skincare. We do 17 different kinds of massages and more body wraps, energy work. We're really looking at healing the whole person.
So it's interesting that you and Lindi are on the same show because she's trying to heal people in her way. You're trying to heal people in your way. Now, Michael Schweisheimer here, who is the owner of Primitive World Productions, does his part for helping the community as well, because I understand that your video production company specializes in nonprofits and educational organizations.
Yeah, that's correct. About 10 years ago, I'd been working in the industry for about 10 years at that point, and I came across my first client in the nonprofit space. It's right around the corner from here, which is the Inglis Foundation. And that's a facility that helps people with quadriplegia. And it was like a light bulb went off for me that I could use my communication skills to assist organizations doing such good and important work. So what I've done for the last 10 years is focused on finding ways to make video communications accessible, useful, and really as effective as possible for nonprofits.
How do nonprofits use these kinds of videos? Is it primarily for fundraising or community awareness, outreach? What are the purposes?
It can be any of that. It depends on the organization. A lot of it, what led me into the education space was that a lot of nonprofits have an education mission. Everything really comes back to stories. There are a lot of nonprofits in this country. It's an enormous sector, and sometimes it's really hard to differentiate why your organization might be more, it's not more important, but why would your organization be a place that a donor would want to identify with?
Right,
And
because
it's
I would
through
imagine
stories.
that's a challenge because all charities and nonprofits seem like they're worthwhile.
They're hopefully they are. If we're doing what we're supposed to be doing properly, there are only worthwhile and effective organizations and charities. So the question is, how do you reach out to people who are potential donors and potential long-term friends of your organization and develop that relationship? And video is only part of an entire marketing, marketing plan and marketing strategy. But when you have good stories, you find the stories within your organization of how, clients are impacted, areas are impacted, how your work is changing lives. That's the kind of thing that video can do in a way that's more immediate and easier for people to identify with, and it really gets their attention.
And you said you've been doing this for about 10 years now.
Yeah, this is the 10th year of my business.